There it is. The Hangout is live. Welcome, folks. Tank Talk Live tonight is December 8th at 8 p.m. If you're watching this around that time and there's the little red live button, you're watching this live. Welcome. Come hang out with me for a little while. We'll have some fun. If you're not watching it during those times and you don't see the little red live icon, then you're watching this on a replay. And don't get mad at me if you don't get a reply from me. Let's see if I can point to it. Let me do this again. It's right here. Or wait, no, because this is backwards. It's over here. So it should say live. I don't know. Anyway, there it is. I was pointing to it. You're a couple of seconds behind me. But anyway, if you don't see live underneath me, then you're watching a replay. Feel free to comment. I encourage you to. But if you don't get an answer from me live, then that's why. Don't be mad at me. So the first thing that I have to do, that I have to talk about tonight, is what's been going on with me. There's been a lot of emails. There's been comments. Where's John? Is everything okay? What happened? Where's he been? I'm not going to go into a whole bunch of details because I don't want to bore anybody, but it's been a rough couple of weeks between holidays and car accidents and a death in the family. And I mean, I could go on and on and on. A horrible, horrible toothache that I've got an appointment for a week and a half from now to get taken out. One thing after another. It's been a rough couple of weeks. So I apologize about not doing a live stream last week. The week before that, kind of good excuse. It was Thanksgiving Day. I mean, I didn't think anybody was going to watch a live stream on Thanksgiving Day. And then Corey did one that was like 8 hours long, and a whole bunch of people watched that. So anyway, there you go. But I apologize about that. I do have a lot of plans for things coming out in the very near future, starting this weekend, and that's the first thing that I want to talk about today. First of all, let me see who's in here, see what's going on. There's way too many names for me to list them out. But hello to everyone who is saying hi. Thank you very much. That's very nice of you. I'm going to talk about a couple of really cool things that are going on here at KGTropicals, and then we're going to move on to doing some Q&A. So if you have questions about just about anything, I'm not an expert in everything. If I can't answer it, I'm going to tell you I can't answer it. But if you have questions, hold them off until a little bit because they're just going to end up getting lost in the chat if you put them in there now. So, big project I have going on. I've mentioned it a couple of times. I don't know if I've mentioned it on the YouTube live stream. I know I've mentioned it on Facebook a couple of times about a big project that I've got going on here. If you see me talking weird, it's because I've got a horrible toothache. So this project, the idea for this project came up 3 or 4 weeks ago, and then all of those events that we just talked about happened. So it kind of got put on hold, but it's back full steam now. It started with, excuse me, good Lord, Lisa coming downstairs one day and saying, you know what, I need something of my own to get back into this. I need to get back into this and have some fun fish keeping again, but I want something of my own. And I said, well, hey, that sounds good to me because I've got enough to take care of already. What are you thinking about? And she said, well, the most fun I ever had in fish keeping was not when we owned a store. It was not when we were breeding fish in 127 tanks in our basement. No, it was when she had a small little section of tanks at the shop where she was breeding angels. That is the thing that made her happy. It put a smile on her face, and it was her little escape from everything else that was going on in the world. And so she said, I want to breed angels again. So of course, me being the wild and crazy fish keeper that I am, I immediately start processing all of these ideas. Oh my God, we can do this, we can do that. We had a long conversation and put kind of a very early plan in place to build a separate fish room from this one. Now, of course, it's down here in the basement, so we're going to be right next to each other, but it's going to be her own little isolated area. That's what she wanted, was something completely for her that she will maintain, and she will do everything in there. I basically can only come in when she has something that she wants to show me. But of course, when it comes to setting everything up, that's my job. So I got to get everything set up for her, and then she'll kick me out and she'll do everything on her own. So what the plan is, I'll go over it briefly, but I will tell you the first video of this is going to come out this Sunday, which is basically a tour of the room where it's going to be and show you the debacle that was, and then talk about what the plan, and in detail what the plan is for this fish room. But we're going to have 12 tanks in this fish room. She's going to have more tanks over there than I have over here. There's going to be a rack, which I've already built. That video will come out next week. A rack that's going to have 4 20-gallon tanks on it and 6 10-gallon tanks, which are going to serve as breeder tanks and fry tanks. And then we're going to have a community tank and a grow out tank. If you want to know more details about what those are going to be, watch the video that's coming out this Sunday, and I'll go over everything in much more detail. But I'm excited about it because this is something that she wants to do for her, but it's also giving me something to do, which is nice. I mean, I don't like to get stagnant, and I did kind of get to that wall. I kind of hit that wall with YouTube where it's like, what am I going to talk about next? Am I going to bring up old topics again? Am I going to do the same topics over and over and over and over again? How many times can you do videos about the cycling process or about hybrids? I mean, I didn't want to just keep recycling this. Well, that's always nice when the webcam falls off of its mount. Hang on. This is glorious. Sorry about this. You know, I mean, this is not a professional. It's not a professional situation here. I mean, this is just me in my basement. Things are going to happen, and that is not the first time that that's happened on this live stream. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, I didn't want to keep recycling the same old stuff over and over and over again. So this gives me something to do, something to share with you, something that we can get you involved with. You know, I don't know how involved. It's not like you're going to come here and help me with it, but you know what I'm saying. It's something that you can see, you can follow along with, and then also hopefully learn something from. I mean, if you're thinking about setting up a fish room, if you're thinking about breeding angels, if you're thinking about breeding a couple of other fish too, that I've convinced her to do, and it's kind of my way of weaseling myself into the fish room. I also want her, I want us to breed bristlenose plecos and cory cats. Not sure exactly which ones of each of those, but something else other than just angels. So it's going to be 3 different types of fish that we're breeding in there. It'll be a lot of fun. And the whole process of building the fish room, getting it all set up, setting up the air system for all of the sponge filters, all of that I'm going to show in these videos. And then also when it comes to maintaining it, we'll do a video of Lisa doing her water changes and all of that, how she does it in a fish room with 12 tanks. So going to go over it in very good detail as far as how I'm filtering everything and all of that. So I think it's something that could end up being a lot of fun. So I'm excited about it. I hope you are too. I hope that you will come over and watch as I put up these videos about it. Again, first one's going to start this Sunday, and it'll be kind of the detailed plan of what it is that we're going to do. So can't wait to do that. I mean, it's already started, so I can't say I can't wait to start it because I'm already, you know, I'm already doing it. So we already have all of the tanks and all that kind of stuff. I think you probably already guessed that. We have, well, really, we have almost everything, including lids and all of that. Not 100% clear on what I'm going to do with lighting yet. I might just use shop lights, 4-foot shop lights. That's what we did at the shop. I don't know. We'll see what we can figure out there. But the overall plan is in place, and it's already started, and I'm excited about it. So there you go. That's what's going to happen. If you want to know what it's like to set up a 12-tank fish room in your basement, you're going to want to watch that video. Make sure that you're subscribed, and then also make sure you go to the channel and click that little bell that's right next to the channel name, because that's going to allow you to get the notifications when the new videos come out. So there you go. somebody, William Feltner, of course it was William Feltner, just commented on the next thing that I have to talk about. Another thing that I'm super excited about. I'm always excited about stuff, aren't I? This camera is just like, it's still not set right. It's cutting half of me off. I want to show off this shirt, which I'll talk about in just a minute. But William Feltner asked, when are the corals coming? Well, the answer to that question is tomorrow, which will be Friday the 9th if you're not watching this live. Very excited about that. And I actually, I have a list here of what it is that I ordered. So I contacted Than Thane over at Tidal Gardens. If you're a saltwater person, you should have watched the live stream that I had him on. We had a lot of fun. Gotten to know him a little bit over the last month or so, a couple of months. And I hit him up the other day. I said, okay, I think I'm ready. I think I'm ready for some corals. I don't know if I'm ready, but I'm ready to try. So we went back and forth and talked about what we're going to start with. And there's one in particular that I was adamant about starting with. I mean, there's no way I could have done this and not used or not bought this particular coral, and that is Xenia. I am a complete nut for the pulsing Xenia. If you don't know what I'm talking about, that's what it looks like. It sits on top of a little polyp and it just goes bloop. It's constant. It's absolutely mesmerizing. I watch videos of it, and I can't wait to be watching it in my tank right here on my desk. Now, I know a lot of reefers kind of criticize that one, and they say that it's kind of like a weed because it grows out of control. I'm okay with that because they're so cool. I don't think that it's anything that I could ever get tired of. So I've got 2 of those coming. I think each one is going to have like 2 or 3 sprouts on it. Yeah, I'm not a reefer, so I just call them sprouts. I've also got an eagle eye zoanthid coming, a yellow polyps, and 1 green spotted mushroom. That's what I'm starting with. So it's going to be 5 corals, but 2 of them will be the same. And, you know, I'm going to do a video unboxing them and, you know, putting them in the tank and all that kind of stuff. And you'll get to see how somebody who has absolutely no clue what they're doing does it for the first time. Now I have a little idea of what I'm doing because I had that nice long conversation with Than a while back on the live stream, but this is still something that's going to be very new to me. So I can't wait to do it. They're coming tomorrow. So be on the lookout for that. I'm not going to do a live unboxing just because I don't feel like being under that kind of pressure. But I'm going to record the whole thing, the unboxing and putting it in the tanks and all of that. And I will then edit it and upload it tomorrow night. So be on the lookout for that. And then Sunday will be the Fishroom build video will be coming out. So there you go. There is the big news of projects, things that we're working on here. And I'm excited. It's been a long time coming for corals. I think once I get these, the next thing I'm going to want to do is probably add a couple of things to the other saltwater tank. I'm still thinking about adding some plants down here. I mean, there's always things to improve, things to do. But you know, you only have so many hours in the day. So that's what I've got going on. I want to mention a couple of quick things here. The first thing is I have right now, I've been running this for a week or so, and I'm going to keep running it for a while. I started a promo code, and I was going to make it exclusively to the Tank Talk Facebook group, but then I said, you know what? Why? That's ridiculous. The promo code at KGTropicals.com is this, but you see it. No, you don't see it backwards. It's showing up the right way on the camera. It shows up backwards on the camera, which is weird, but Tank Talk Nation is the promo code. This shirt was a gift from my good friend Paul Martin, who is in the chat right now. Just an unbelievable guy. He sent me this shirt along with another shirt that has our logo on the back. He sent some stuff to Lisa. It's just unbelievable, this guy. But he also sent this. I showed it on the Facebook live stream the other day, and people went bananas over it. Look at this thing. It's one of those LED lights. The little panel comes out, which why would you want it to come out? And every single time you touch it, it has fingerprints on it. But how cool is this thing? He got it made with our logo on it. It's got a bunch of different colors. It's not showing up the greatest because of the tank lighting. But purple, we got, that's like a clear, red. No, this is the multicolored. This is, now it's changing colors. And then there is the red. How cool is this thing? I've got it right next to me here on the desk, and I love it. It's one of the first things I do when I come down here every single day is turn that lamp on. I love it. So thank you very much to Paul for that. The guy spoils us, and I don't even know why, but he's just a good dude. I guess that's why he does that. So so that's it. I think I kind of skipped really quick past the Tank Talk Nation promo code. 10% off on KGTropicals.com. Go on there, order up some of these plush plecos for your friends as Christmas gifts. Come on. How perfect is that? If you order a few of them, they're only $11.99 a piece, but you order a bunch of them for all of your fish keeping friends. And if it goes over $59.99, you're going to get free shipping. And you put this in the promo box. It's not hashtag Tank Talk Nation. It's just Tank Talk Nation. You put that in there, you get 10% off. It's a beautiful thing. We all need deals like that with Christmas coming. So there we go. That is what I've got going on. Super excited about the things happening down here. Super excited about getting this tooth pulled. It will make my life so much better. But anyway, it's time to get into some questions from all of you. Your camera is messed up today, blurry or out of focus. Not on my feed. If there's a weak feed, sometimes you can get that, but on mine, it's looking good. So let's see, John, nice name, by the way. Maybe refresh or something like that, and maybe you can get a better connection. I don't have the best setup here for these live streams, so that certainly has something to do with it. The picture is never perfect, but I do my best. I'll be upgrading equipment eventually. I don't know when. I'm buying all this fish stuff. I don't know when I'm going to be upgrading my stuff. So we're going to go till about 9 o'clock today, which is going to give us about an hour. So if you've got questions about the fish keeping hobby, you got questions about my tanks, about the future projects we're working on, send them in now, and I will do my best to answer them. If I can't answer them, I'll tell you I don't know. Okay, let's see. Can fish tank cycle in low pH? My aqua soil eco complete lowered my pH. Yeah, it certainly can. It's clear on mine. Okay, that's somebody responding to that. Yeah, it's not going to ever be 100% clear, like crystal clear HD. But if your feed is bad, then it's going to be rough. What can I do to get my plecos to breed? China Doll, are you giving them an area to go into to breed? They like to breed in an enclosure, like in a cave or a small rock formation that they can get under there and actually make their own cave. That's what these plecos like to do. Male and the female goes in, they do their thing, and then they guard the entrance to that cave. This is why you see a lot of tube-like things sold, and they're sold as pleco caves. That's hard to say. That's why you see those, is specifically not for them to live in, but for them to breed in. If you don't have anything accessible to you, or you can't afford to buy a manufactured pleco cave, a nice piece of PVC pipe with one end blocked off by a little cap, it'll cost you like $1 to get something like that. You can stick that in there, give them somewhere to retreat, to go into and do their thing. Hopefully that will help you out. Do you feed your plecos anything special? Yeah, I have spirulina wafers that I throw in there. I also feed the cobalt wafers, which you can't see it. You might be able to see it. Let's see. There's the can right there. One of the big cans from Cobalt. And I've only got, the only plecos that I have right now are 2 bristlenose that are in there that I never see. I throw 2 of those in every single day, and they always disappear. So either the discus are eating them, which sometimes they do, or they're just coming out at night to eat them all. But those are the only 2 that I have. So I'm going to probably have that big tub of algae wafers from Cobalt for a long time. I watch your live streams a lot. For some reason, I will keep refreshing. Yeah, sorry about that, John. I mean, I'm doing my best here, but, you know, I can only give you what I can give you. How's the, it just skipped on me. How's the plants doing? Can you do a detailed vid? Yeah, and you know what? Now that I'm looking, I mean, it kind of does look a little blurry. Let me try something here. I'm going to put my thumb over the camera and see if I can get it to focus better when I release it. Hey, kind of made a difference on my end. So now you can see the plants a little bit better. Because of the events that have been going on in the last few weeks, I have not been the best fish keeper in the world. So the plants are a little bit out of control right now, but they're all doing well. My head's blocking some of them, and the computer screen and the TV screen and all of that. But yeah, they're doing well. I could certainly do a video on them. There's not a whole lot to talk about with them. I put those octopus plants down there in the bottom, and now they're doing better in the bottom than they are in the top, which is crazy. But a lot of that has to do with my filter. The intake came off, and it blew a lot of stuff around, and it messed things up. So, but yeah, I'll do a video on the plants eventually. But I kind of got a lot of them in line now, which is a good problem to have. So we'll see how that goes. But is a good green algae growth do anything for water quality similar to how plants help? I think you'd have to have an awful lot of them, Mr. Unavailable. That's a pretty adorable name. You'd have to have an awful lot of algae for it to impact things like your nitrates and stuff like that. At least I think. I've never made the argument that algae is a good thing for water quality issues. Maybe it is. I don't know. I also will tell you that I don't believe algae to be a bad thing as far as it's not going to kill your fish and all that kind of stuff. We're talking freshwater here. It's just an eyesore. It's just a nuisance. It doesn't really hurt anybody. So it's not bad or good. Can you grow discus slowly in a planted tank? You most certainly can. I don't see why not. A lot of the breeders and stuff like that are going to grow them in large aquariums or, you know, big ponds and stuff like that. I don't think really any discus breeders are using ponds, but big vats. But I don't see why you couldn't grow them in a planted tank. I mean, you keep the tank good and clear and keep your water clean, they'll certainly grow. As long as you're not putting them in a 5-gallon tank. John, are you still doing the Oscar tank at the vape shop? I am. It's actually already up and running. The owner, he's hard-headed, and him and I went back and forth. I helped him out with picking out the equipment for it, and then he went price shopping, which I told him not to do, and he did, and he ended up buying a different filter from what I told him to. I told him to get an FX6, or actually, no, let me take that back. I told him to get a sump because the tank is pre-drilled, and he couldn't get a sump in the amount of time that he wanted it. He needed it fast because it was an empty glass box sitting in the middle of his shop, and he wanted something fast. So he asked me about canister filter. I told him FX6. He bought the G6, which is that fancy black box that you see at PetSmart. I've never used one of those. Heard good things about them. Heard bad things about them too. So I don't really know yet how I feel about that, but that's what he did. And he set it up himself. He texted me. He's like, hey, it's up and running. I'm like, and then of course he followed that up with the text that said, what do I do next? So, you know, the idea of doing a whole video on setting it up, well, that's kind of come and gone because he didn't tell me that he had it. If he told me he had the stuff, I would have gone down there and I would have brought my stuff and I would have recorded it, but he didn't tell me. He just got it and he set it up. So, you know, it is what it is. But the interesting thing is he's actually setting up a second vape shop in King George. The man wants to dominate King George County. There ain't a whole lot here to dominate, but he's the only one here. So he's actually building a vape shop like 2 miles from my house. The cool thing is he lives in the same neighborhood as I do. So it's going to be really convenient for him. But he's putting 150 gallon in that shop too. It's built into the sales counter. So that's going to be really cool. That's definitely going to be something that I'll end up showing in a video. So he has 2 vape shops. Both of them have big aquariums in them. But the new shop isn't open yet. So that'll happen sooner or later. That's the best type of food to feed juvenile cichlids. There is a huge variety of food out there, Danny. I feed my pellets. I feed Northfin. I've used Hikari. I've used Southern Delight. I've used almost every brand out there, and it's all good. I mean, I've never done tests to see, oh, this tank I fed this and this tank I fed that, and let's see which one does better. I just go by look and feel and behavior, and they seem to all do better. I do think that you do notice a slight difference in some of the premium cichlid pellets. The fish might seem a little spunkier, might seem to respond to the food a little bit faster, but I'm not going to tell you that any food is garbage, and I'm not going to tell you that any food is the best. Don't necessarily make your decision strictly on price. Make your decision on what you hear a lot of people say, the reviews that you read out there. If you want to know my own pellets, the KGTropicals cichlid pellets, and Northfin. That's why those are the only 2 that you see for sale on my website. So how's the big spot doing from the medicated video? And of course, my thing skipped. Who asked that? Was that William Feltner that asked that? I think it was. And shame on him. He probably wasn't at my live stream 2 weeks ago on Facebook. Unfortunately, we lost the big spot hap. Not because of the illness that he had. Oh, no. He recovered from that fully, was thriving, was doing extremely well. I had him in that tank still because I don't like putting just one fish in the tank. I like to add 3 or 4 fish at a time, and I didn't have 3 or 4 fish to add in there with him. So I just held him, let him hang out in there. And then we had a situation. One of the fish in here fell ill, and it was a situation where it needed to be hospitalized. So I took that out and I said, big spot, you got to go back in. I wish you luck, buddy. And he didn't last 24 hours. I mean, it's one of those things. I was stuck. I was in a situation where I had to do something, and he didn't make it 24 hours. And then, unfortunately, neither did the fish that I put in the hospital tank. So there was a double loss there. Looking for suggestions for Ethylwane tank mates. Some people say Ethylwane. Some people say Ethylwine. Tomato. Peacocks. I mean, peacocks and haps are going to be ideal. I've had ethels. I call them ethels because it's fun. I've had ethels with all different African cichlids, Mbunas, peacocks, haps, you name it. The book tells you not to do that, but I've done it, and they've done really, really well. The one thing that I will say, though, is for some reason, they are kind of softies, is the way I'd like to describe it. They're not going to be the most aggressive peacocks out there, and they don't take a beating very well. So they do seem, the ethels, in my opinion, in my experience, they've seemed to be the weaker of the peacocks. So be aware of that, and definitely keep an eye on things. If everybody gets along, it's fine, but you never know. If somebody decides to start a war, the ethel is probably going to be the first one to lose. I got to take a drink of my drink here. Oh, my goodness. All right. Does anyone know when a canister filter needs to be changed? It needs to be changed when it's dirty. No. A lot of that, let's see, Lawrence, a lot of that is going to depend on your stocking, your water changes, how often you're feeding. All of that comes into play with every single thing that we do in this hobby. But a good rule of thumb is to clean out your sponges once a month or so. I don't know what kind you're using. And as far as your media goes, the media, you should have kind of instructions on how often to change it. If you're using carbon or Purigen, if you're going to recharge Purigen, stuff like that, it'll tell you, when you buy it, how often to do that. Maintenance really should be on a highly stocked tank, a minimum of once a month. Maintenance being flushing everything out, wringing out your sponges, things like that. But actual replacement of media, you're going to do that based on what the book says. The inside of a PVC cave must be sanded rough or they won't use it. Good tip, Dwayne. I was not aware of that. Can angels make hybrids? Also looking forward to them new Fishroom videos. Yes, they certainly can hybridize. We're going to not try to do that, though. We want to breed some specific types of angels. What are those specific types? I don't know yet, but I don't want to just breed the kind that you can go and get at PetSmart. We're not trying to go out and spend $1,000 on a breeding pair either. What Lisa would ultimately like to do is put them in a community tank, which we're setting up a tank exclusively for that, putting a dozen of them in there, letting them pair off naturally. I don't know what they're called. If somebody in here knows what they're called, let me know. But my personal favorites, well, the first are the platinums. I love the platinums, but I also love the ones that are silver with the orange blaze, almost like African cichlids have blazes. The orange blaze that goes like behind their eyeballs, and it's absolutely gorgeous. Those are my two favorite angels, but guess what? I'm not the one picking the fish. She is, so we'll have to see what happens there. Let's see. Good evening, Richard Burns. Isn't that the guy off Simpsons? My trout is 6 inches and starting to color up. It's beautiful. Mine's not doing anything yet. Of course. I do not play fantasy football. If I did, my team would be the worst because I would pick all Redskins players because I'm that much of an idiot. I put branching driftwood into a pleco tank, but there is fuzzy stuff growing on the wood, and the sand is turning black where the wood is touching. Is this normal? That is more than likely what is called blackbeard algae. Look into blackbeard algae. It is the devil. It's horrible. Trust me on that. Which do you like better, discus or angels? You can't make me do that. I like them both. I definitely do. Angels, I would put angels in a category different than discus because they're so easy to keep. I mean, they're almost like Jack Dempsey's. You know, I mean, you have a tank full of water, angels are going to be fine. So that, you know, for beginners or people that are just casual fish keepers and not extreme hobbyists like we are, if you're just an entry-level person or whatever, definitely angels. As far as their appearance goes, I don't think anything can compare to discus. It's just, I mean, they're gorgeous. You need to get Lisa to go live to talk about discus, miss her videos. I'm working on that, Jay. Believe me, I'm working on that. It's been a fight. You're starting a lot of tanks. Are we going to see a bunch of sponges in the tanks behind you? A bunch of sponges as in like priming sponge filters? No. Because if we do that, which we may, they'll actually be in the sump of that tank and you won't see them. So we have a bunch of leftover used sponge filters in the garage right now that we're going to end up using for them. Smaller, you know, for little 10 gallons and stuff like that. Are you doing Ultim Angels? No, I'm not. I'm not all that wild about wild caught fish. I know that sounds weird, but you know, am I against them? No, but that's not something that's appealing to me. I'm not against them, but it is. Will an Oscar survive in an African tank? Did somebody check the time to see how long it took for that question to get asked? Because it gets asked every single week. It can, but it's not something I would advise you to do. In a perfect world, they have completely different water conditions. I wouldn't do it. One or the other will probably end up killing the other. I have a Fluval G3 junk. Okay. Sorry about that. There it went again. I hate this chat. I hate it. I despise it. It jumps all over the place. What's the best way to grow a fish YouTube channel? Love the live streams. I don't know because I've been trying for years and it's not working. So I really don't know. I create content that I like, that I want, that I want to talk about, things that I'm passionate about, things that I'm excited to talk about. And, my channel has grown steadily at a snail's pace for 5 years. I was going to do a live stream, I think it was 2 Sundays ago, because this channel had its 5-year anniversary. I didn't upload any videos until the following May, but I started my channel November 20th of 2011. And then I was going to do like a special thing because it was 5 years. But then I was like, you know what? Who really cares? It's not like I'm doing a 50,000 subscriber special or something like that. That would be different, or 100,000 or whatever. But 5-year anniversary, who really cares about that? What about the theory that 2 smaller canisters might be better than 1 big one? I don't think it's a bad thing. You get more water flow that way. You get more options as far as things that you can put. You can put one thing in one canister and something different in the other, and it gives you more options that way. I don't think it's a bad thing. I'm not going to argue one way is better than the other because I've never done it, so I don't really know. But I don't think it would be a bad thing. I'd certainly try it. I have 2 blue phantoms, a crazy albino bushy nose pleco, a vampire pleco, and a titanic pleco in the tank. Good Lord. Good for you, Noah. With a name like Noah, you got to have 2 of everything. Oh, that was cruel, wasn't it? I bet you've never heard that before. Do cichlids breed like dogs? It looks like I have 2 kinds of fry from 1 female. If the conditions are right, Mr. Felton, yes, they certainly can. African cichlids, if you do your job, they're very easy to breed because you don't have to do anything. You just put them in the tank and they do their thing. So yeah, you certainly can. They can breed like dogs. They can also not breed. I mean, we had 27 different breeding tanks in our garage when we were doing that. And there would be some tanks that would be popping out fry twice a week. We'd be stripping females. All right, that's exaggerating. Maybe once a week. And then others, it might be once a month. I mean, you never really know. But a lot of them will certainly breed like rabbits. Yes. John, do you know about South American cichlids generally speaking? Just bought a 125 and want to try them out. Interested in electric blue Jack Dempsey's. Yeah, Jack Dempsey's, not necessarily the electric blues. They are a little bit more delicate than the standard Jack Dempsey's. I don't know why I did this. Jack Dempsey's, though, are the easiest fish on the planet to keep, in my experience. Jack Dempsey's and Oscars, I mean, they're foolproof, literally. South American cichlids, I am a fan of. I certainly am. The only thing with them is that I do like a lot of activity in the tank, and a lot of those fish, you're going to isolate them alone in their own tank. And that's not really my thing. Unless it's a huge arowana, I'd be okay with that. But hey, Jahan, it's John. I'm just messing with you. 1:30 a.m. here in England. Wow. Fish PS4 online. That's a real honor that you have stayed up that late to watch this guy. Why? I don't know. Best cleanup crew for a 10-gallon nano tank. Otto Sinkless. Or bristlenose plecos. I mean, they stay small. They can go in a 10-gallon tank. Why not? An aquarium would be the only reason I would walk into a vape shop. I don't know about you, but everyone who vapes up here is a stereotypical hipster D-bag attitude. You know, I can't argue with you there. There is a lot of that, but you know what? It seems to be getting a little bit better, but, you know, there's going to be those people. So I don't blame you. If it wasn't for those people, vape shops would be a lot more successful because people now want to avoid them and they order online. And it's unfortunate for people like my friend. But he's not doing too bad. I mean, he's opening up his second shop. So, oh boy, let's see. I don't know why that comment got blocked. China doll. Okay, people answering everyone else's questions. Sorry to bring that up, John. Oh, no problem, William. I was just messing with you. My Jack Dempsey's in a 55 by himself and hides all the time. If I got another one, do you think he'd come out more? Could. My buddy has one. It was like 8 inches, like a full-grown Jack Dempsey. I don't know. They must get bigger than that. But I gave him one that was very, very small. It used to be in the 125, and his was also hiding all the time. He put that little one in there, and it came out, and it came out in a big way because, like, within a week they spawned, and there was like 300 eggs. I got to text him and find out what happened to all of those fry. Hi guys, I just murdered my parents. Hey, good for you, 256. Go to bed. It's way too late for somebody your age to still be awake. Unless you had a nice nap today during kindergarten. If you were to set up a Frontosa tank, how would you set up one up? How would you set... This is me. This is not you. How would you set one up yourself, and can you add tank mates? I don't think there's anything prettier than a all Frontosa tank. There's a couple of YouTubers that have all Frontosa tanks, and I think they're absolutely beautiful. Can you put other fish with them? Yeah, you certainly can. There are people that would argue that it's strictly other Tanganyikan fish. If you do anything else, you're an idiot, you're a douchebag, you're all of this. I get called those names quite often. I have had, unfortunately, we lost him a couple of weeks ago. When it rains, it pours. I don't know what happened. It was actually a her. My Frontosa that was in there passed a couple of weeks ago out of nowhere. But I have always kept Frontosas with Malawian fish, and they've always been fine. So there you go. How many fish do you keep in your breeding tank? If we're talking about angels, 2, because that's all you need. But I'm thinking you probably were talking about Africans. We wanted to produce as many fry as possible because we were doing this to sell the fry. We don't do it anymore, so don't email me asking how to order fish from my website. But we were doing this for sale, so we wanted as many fry as possible. We would put one male in with 8 to 10 females, and boy, was that a happy male. That's how we did it, because we wanted constant holding females to be coming out of those tanks. And it worked really well. I mean, for most of the different breeds that we were breeding, that sounded weird, we got a lot of fry from them. If you're just doing it for fun, you want to add that layer to this hobby, then do a couple of, 3, 4 females, and, let the male do his thing. It will happen eventually. If you're doing your job, the fry will come. But I wouldn't put more than that, because then it can get out of control and you end up, having a real problem like we did. Is the lighting bright? That can cause Dempsey's to hide a lot. Oh, that's a good question. Maybe depending on how aggressive he wants to be. No more Coke, John? No. I quit drinking Coke. It's done. It's out of my life now. All right. Let me get rid of this jackass. Sorry, folks. When people put up messages, I just murdered my parents, it was quite a thrill. I mean, come on. We have no time for that. Oh, and he got timed out. Oh, so Paul Martin already took care of that? No, I just blocked him, Paul. I don't have time for that kind of garbage. Tips on breeding, bristlenose breeding. We talked about that a little bit earlier, Daniel. Most Central and South American cichlids. I have a 150-gallon, a 29, and 2 10-gallon, and a 65-gallon of cichlids. Wow. You're a busy person, China Doll. I don't know. With that kind of name, I'm assuming maybe you're very busy. Hey, Kayla, haven't seen you in a while either. I've been wondering where you were. Hi, John. I have a what? It keeps blowing bubble. I don't know what that is. Fish PS4 online. Sorry. I don't know what that Boyu EFU 45. I'm not sure what that is. I like koi angels. Yes, I do too. It did it to me again. Mr. Unavailable, I am not taking a rip from a bong. That is something I've never done in my life. I can promise you that. No, this is an electronic cigarette. That's what this is. Can you really call that an electronic cigarette? I don't know. It's a personal vaporizer. That's what this is. Let's see. John, in your fish room build video, are you showing how to build a tank rack? I really want to build one. Yes. As a matter of fact, I was just going through the footage that I took of myself building it. It's going to be a very brief build, but I am going to show it. I did do a whole video about that, about building an aquarium stand. So I'll refer people to that in that video, but I go into, you know, a little bit more details with this one on building it more as a rack system, not just a one tank thing. So yeah, I will definitely be doing that. Just a quick question. Do you ship to the UK? Your discus are beautiful. I want them. Not only can I not ship to the UK, but I also don't sell fish. So that's a double no there for you, Jay. Sorry about that. Any ideas of what non-cichlid species that can handle an African cichlids? Why? Why, William X? There's so many varieties of African cichlids. There's so many different types, different colors, different sizes, different shapes. Why do you need to add fish that aren't Africans? That's my question to you. Love watching your videos. Always find something new to do to improve my Malawi tank. And yes, they breed like rabbits. I have 5 females all carrying, and don't strip them as it still got no tumbler. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I wish I knew your name because I keep calling you Fish PS4. If I was breeding African cichlids for fun, that's how I'd be doing it. I'd be letting the females hold the eggs the whole time because that's part of the fun. It's cool to see that kind of a thing happen. But when you're doing it for a business and you really want to produce as much as possible, if you strip those fry or strip the eggs and remove them from the female and put her back in the breeder tank, she immediately goes into the thought process of, well, that's done. Now let's start this whole thing all over again. And they will spawn again faster than if they were holding the eggs for 21 days and then they raise the fry for a few days and then they got to spend some time getting fattened back up again. And then they might start thinking about breeding. It could be a month and a half or so, even 2 months before they want to do something like that again. But if you pull the fry out, it's only been a few days, so they haven't gotten really skinny and frail, and they just start thinking about it again. We've had Africans spawn 2 weeks apart, stripping the eggs. So for a business, that works great. But if I was doing it for fun, I would do exactly what you did. I'm going to eat pineapple. I am jealous. This is actually a pineapple drink. Y'all tried this? Unbelievable. The Crush pineapple drink mix. Woo! That is some good stuff. That stuff is right. How can you breed a black knife fish? I don't know. That's a cool fish, though. I've always been fascinated with them. Never owned one, but I've always thought they were really cool. Do you sell fake plants? No, I do not. What is your favorite non-cichlid fish that's not an arowana? That would be the freshwater stingrays. That's no brainer. Have you ever used... See, y'all have to understand something. For some reason, when I use my little roll, what's this called? Rolly thing? I call it a rolly thing. When I use that to scrolling wheel, there you go. When I use that to scroll through the comments, sometimes it skips and I lose the comment. I don't know. John, I did save 1 OB cichlids. Remember when my OB gave birth prematurely, my egg rocker came in. Nice. Good for you. What are good tank mates for angels? I like to keep community fish with them. In this tank, I've got, there you can see them swimming around really fast there. Some zebra danios, longfin zebra danios. I've got 2 little rainbow sharks in there with them. What else do I have in there? I had a couple of cardinal tetras, but they disappeared. And then I've actually got 2 clown loaches that are in there. There they are. You can see them. They're right there, palling around with each other. They don't hurt anybody. They're doing fine in there. They creep me out every day because I come downstairs and they're laying on their side, which just still freaks me out. But my daughter is texting me. But that's what I have in there. I don't know that clown loaches are the best to put in with them. But they're working fine in there with me. But community fish, that's the way I like. That's what I like to put in with angels. There are some other cichlids, things like rams that you can put in there with them, but I just go community fish because they kind of blend right in with them. Jordan, dumb thing won't let me change my name. Oh, that took me a second to figure that out. Glad you're back. I am glad to be back, Alex. I never went anywhere. I just wasn't able to make videos or do live streams. If I have two females holding at the same time, should I have them in different tanks? Only have one breeder tank. You know what? It's the best idea would be to have them in separate tanks. But if you only have one and that's the only way you can do it, then you got to do what you got to do. And I think somebody's coming down my stairs right now. So it's kind of gotten me off my game. Somebody coming down here? No? Okay. Skylar, if that's you, I just texted you back. Yes, I am doing my live stream. Isn't this nice, folks? Okay. Deformed fish equals bad water, bad food. Huh? I don't know what that means. How long do my new FX need to cycle before I take off my old filtration? That's a very common question, Sean. I've gotten that quite a bit. You know, there's a lot of places out there that would tell you that you can completely seed it in 2 weeks. I don't buy that. I'm always somebody that I would rather err on the side of caution, and I would let it go for a month. Why not? I mean, just set the new filter up and just forget about it and let it run for a while, and then take your old filter off and see how it is. So that's the, I mean, I've done that many times, and that's how I've always done it. Just put it on there. Just forget that it's even there. That is disappointing, John. You should sell your fish and ship all over the world, mate. Your fish are amazing. Well, thank you, Jay. I loved selling fish. I miss selling fish, but you know, life is what it is. I have 2 angels, a bristlenose, a high fin ghost knife, and a crebensis. Haha. All right. Sounds good to me. Crebensis? I don't know. We'll have to see. Someone tell me, how big does albino red-tipped sharks get? If those are the ones I'm thinking of, they get not even that big. If I'm thinking of the right things, they're 6 or so inches. Hey, John, what's your future project? You know what, Johnny? My mouth is hurting so bad right now from a tooth that I have that needs to be pulled. I'm not going to go over it all again. What I'm going to tell you is we're going to cut this off in about 6 minutes, and it'll upload to YouTube. It'll take only a few minutes. It'll upload to YouTube. You can watch it on the replay. It was the very first thing that I talked about. You want the quick thing? I'm building a fish room down here exclusively for Lisa to breed angelfish. The first video on that series will come up this Sunday. So be on the lookout for that. You still having fun with the saltwater? Yes, I am, boss man. Absolutely. Got corals coming tomorrow. I cannot wait for them to come in. Is there a light that will slowly turn on like the sun coming up? I think there are some lights that you can set like a dimmer type thing on them. If not, I know that there are units that you can buy that'll do that for you. Let's see. So can we expect you to put up some angels on the website now that Lisa is going to breed them? You know what? We discussed that. I don't know. Because the thing is, we're not going to be breeding any high dollar fish. So these fish, you know, we'd be selling them for, I don't know, $8, $10 a piece. Breed, you know, raise them up to be a pretty good size. I don't know that anybody's going to spend $8 or $10 on a fish and then pay me $40 to ship it. I don't know that that's really going to work. So, you know, it might be one of those things where you'll hear me say one day, you know, hey, we've got a surplus of angels. If you want them, contact me. We'll make a deal. But I can tell you this, I ain't going to lose money on them. I don't care to make money on them. That's not why we're doing it. But I'm not going to pay somebody to take my fish. So it would end up being one of these things where if you want to buy the fish, they're, you know, $5 a piece. Whatever I have to pay for shipping, that's what you pay. That's how we'd have to do it. I don't know that that's going to happen. I think we'll probably end up just giving them away. And one of the things that we talked about was on this channel doing a, when we get a lot of fry and we're ready to get rid of them, do a giveaway, some type of giveaway to subscribers. I don't know how we would do it, but the winner is going to get 10 of these angels, and we'll cover the shipping, and you just ship them out to you. I don't know. That's something we've thought about. We talked about it and we moved on to something else really fast. So, but we'll see about that. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and it's going to be fun to figure out what to do with them all once we have all these fry. We're going to have a 150-gallon grow-out tank, so we can have a lot of fry before it becomes a real problem. So there we go. Look, folks, it is 8:57, and my jaw is about to fall off. I'm gonna cut this off, and I'm probably gonna lay my head down on the desk, and I'm probably gonna cry a little because we only had 140 something people watching, and I'm in pain, and it's just absolute misery. So probably gonna cry a little, and I don't want to do that on camera. So listen, don't forget, starting this weekend, I'm gonna be uploading the first video about the new fish room. Tomorrow, I'll be putting up a video on the corals that are coming in for the Evo tank. If you're interested in that, definitely check it out. Even if you're not, just to see what's going on. Maybe you will be interested and you just don't know it yet. So definitely check that video out. I can't wait to get them in. I'm probably going to barely sleep tonight, for one, because I'm going to be in so much pain, and for two, because I got corals coming tomorrow. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Don't miss that. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel, and make sure you have notifications set up so that you get notified when that video goes up. And then, of course, the fish room video this weekend. And if you're not a member of the Tank Talk Facebook group, get over there right now and request to join. I will accept you, or one of my moderators will accept you. We try to do it very, very fast. I do live streams like this every Tuesday night, and then I do this one on YouTube on Thursdays. So you don't want to miss either one of them. We have fun. We just hang out. It's a little bit more casual over there on Facebook, even though this is pretty much as casual as you can get. Also, don't forget the Tank Talk Nation promo code on KGTropicals.com. Order up a bunch of these plecos. We got a surplus of them right now. Order up a bunch of these and give them to your friends for Christmas. Even if they're not fish keepers, give it to kids that can stick it on their window, and it'll look cool. So there you go. It's a 10% discount, by the way, and orders over $59.99 ship for free. So there you go. Get all of your fish keeper Christmas gifts. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me today. I'm going to go cry. I will see you next week.